Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update. I, 37 male, have a biological child who I've never seen, 17 female, wanting to make contact, which I don't want but my family does. What should I do here? Original post. When I was 19, I was violated by an older colleague, 34 female, after a works night out, and she got pregnant. It didn't go anywhere legally, as it was my word against hers, and she had the kid. Sadly, as there's no proof that it wasn't consensual, I had to pay child maintenance until the child was 16. Obviously, as it was a product of what happened to me, I wanted nothing to do with it. Told her to raise her baby herself. The woman died, not sorry about it, a couple of years back, and I've not heard anything about the kid since, so I had no idea what was going on other than my maintenance stopping, which was a relief because I finally felt like a millstone had been lifted from around my neck. Because of what happened, I never have been in relationships because of the issues it's caused me, and I haven't got any kids or anything like that, so I feel like I can start living a bit. But I was brought down to earth a bit last month when my mom said the kid got in touch with her on social media and asked about me and my family, and told them she was living with her grandparents herself after her mom died, until they both died themselves, so she's not got anyone now. Now my mom is one of these people with a massive soft spot for kids and young people, so feels sorry for her. I told her I don't feel comfortable with her being in touch with us, and I want nothing to do with her, so keep her away from me. She seemed upset, but I thought she accepted it. I will say throughout it all since then, my parents have been an absolute rock. They were some of the only people to support me, and I couldn't have done it without them. So I was talking to my mom at the weekend, and she admitted to me that she's not only kept in touch with the kid, but she had met them the week before, and they didn't tell me. Basically, they feel really bad for her because of the life she's had, and are starting to enjoy her being in their life. Not only that, she's been asking about me and what happened, and wants to meet me to talk and ask me questions. Obviously, I'm upset about it. I not only had to go for going against my wishes, but for betraying my trust like that. She said it's hard for her and my dad because of the way I've been, never had any kids or anything. They have always been sad that they'll never have a grandchild, and this may be their only chance. She also told me she thinks I'm being out of order taking it out on an innocent child who didn't ask for this, and could at least meet her to talk. I've said no and not spoken since, which is hard, because I normally ring my folks twice a day, and my mom keeps on trying to ring me. I don't know what to do. Reddit. I obviously don't want to be cruel, but that kid is a reminder of what happened to me, and I am just angry she's coming back into my life now, when I thought it could be over. And how could my parents do this to me when they know how I feel? As it stands, I have no desire to meet her, and don't see the good that could come from it. But I don't want to lose my parents either. What should I do? Now for the top advice before reading the updates. I think you need to go to counseling to practice enforcing strong boundaries if you want to maintain a relationship with your family. You did not want that child, and you did what you had to do by paying child support. It's sad that she lost her mom and now wants to meet you. You may be biologically related to her, but you are not her dad, and you made it clear right from the beginning. You are not the bad person here. This is just an unfortunate situation for everyone involved. Doesn't change the fact that there's an innocent 17-year-old girl with no family whatsoever. OP doesn't have to be a father figure to this child, but she's still a biological offspring of her grandparents, and it's not fair to tell them they cannot help this girl out of a terrible situation. Is it OP's responsibility? No. Would it be easier to forget she existed? Yes. Does it change the fact that she does exist? No. This situation is tragic and it's going to cause hurt to someone, regardless of the decision made. Either OP, a 37-year-old man, can be reminded of an awful experience, but still be surrounded by loved ones. Or a 17-year-old girl can be reminded of her own awful experiences, losing everyone she is close with, and be surrounded by no one. I know this will be the unpopular opinion, but I feel that the 17-year-old girl's welfare takes priority. He doesn't have to be in his daughter's life, but he can't ask his parents to ignore this girl after she has reached out to them. I would bet that the child doesn't know she is the product of such an act. That's going to mess with her head, and she's probably bearing resentment to OP from whatever lies her mother told her. Getting to know the truth is going to be traumatic for her as well. It's interesting that she reached out to his parents first, but wants to see him. She may know more than one would expect. I have no social media at all, but my mom does, so it may be that. I'm sorry for what you've been through all those years ago, and I'm more sorry that you've suffered all these years since. Have you ever been to therapy to help you cope with what happened to you and begin to heal? I have, but I don't think it's really helped me so far, so I abandoned it. Go to a therapist that specifically works with trauma. It is a special training that many don't have. There are bad therapists and good therapists. Find one that works for you. There is no need to be a prisoner for the rest of your life over this. There is no need to be a prisoner for the rest of your life over this. That's just how I've felt all these years, but never been able to put it into words. Thank you. Edit. So I spoke to my mom today. She's still insistent on having a relationship with her. I said she can, but tell her that I do not want to meet her at all and won't do it all. Would you believe my folks are actually intending on her coming over and having Christmas dinner with us? I basically said if they do that, I'm not going. I get people disagreeing with my parents' actions, but do not be disrespectful of them or call them names, please. Despite this, they're wonderful people and we're the only people who have ever had my back throughout. Thank you. Now for the first update. I spoke to my parents. I basically laid out exactly why I didn't want contact with her. I explained it's not a personal thing, but rather that she is to me the living embodiment of my offender, and that if I were to have contact, I feel it would make me relive it all over again. I reassured them they can have contact with her, and I won't stop it but to stop trying to force me. They obviously agree with me and said they'll respect my wishes. With regards to Christmas, as it stands, she'll go for Christmas Day and I won't, and I'll go for Boxing Day. My parents are upset because it means I'll be completely on my own Christmas Day. I also wrote her a letter and gave it to them. I wasn't mean or anything to her, but I explained exactly why I didn't want contact and how being in touch with her would make me feel. And that until I get better, I didn't want contact and asked her to respect that. My folks gave it to her and she read it while she was at their house. My mom told me she broke down crying and was really upset. She obviously had no idea what happened. She asked them if they'd let her have some paper and write me a letter back, and she did, and they gave it to me. Initially I went mad that they did give it to me, because I felt like they didn't respect what I'd said, but they begged me to read it, so I did. And God, I'm now confused. The letter was sweet for want of a better word. She admitted in it that she had no idea and apologized to me, and that hurt that she felt like she had to apologize. She also said she'd respect my wishes but gave her contact details and said if I ever wanted to speak to her, she'd be there for me. She also slipped a little passport photo of her in it, which is the first time I've ever seen her and what she looks like. It's weird because before this, she was just a thing. I could ignore her. But reading that, she became real. She has a little girl's handwriting. I felt like I could feel her pain in the letter. And seeing her photo, she's a kid. Doesn't look like me, but really looks like my dad, but with her mom's hair and eye color. But she does look sad in it. I didn't say anything to my parents about it. But I'm now really freaking confused. I know I shouldn't have contact with her, and still don't want it for all the reasons I've said before. It's not good for me, and also I don't think for her. But I realize I don't hate her nor am I angry at her at all. I don't want her to feel guilty about her horrible mother. And now I see she's a person. God, it's messed up. I don't know what's going to happen. I am so glad you updated, and oh my god, the idea of finding out your mother was an offender for the holidays. What a thing. But you had to tell her, good on you. I know. It has to be a horrible thing to find out, but I figure that if anything comes out of this, she'll at least know I don't want contact with her, not out of anything she's done. Exactly. It's not a happy thing to find out, but either she's lied to for the rest of her life, or she'd sit there and wonder forever. At a certain point, it's better to just rip off the bandage. Talk with a therapist about whether to get in contact. It may be that forming a relationship with your daughter can be a part of the healing process, but it would take professional opinion to determine that. I definitely am trying to sort some sort of therapy or counseling. I know at this stage it would be a nightmare to have contact the way I am though. Once you get established in therapy work to meet her during a session, before trying to meet on your own at a house or the park. Without a doubt, it'll be the safest way for both of you. So many complicated emotions at play here. I'm an adopted adult, and I've adopted 2 children. Adoption is always complicated. I don't think I should think about that at this stage. I feel trying to get myself sorted should be the top priority. Edit. So, I just sent my mom a message asking her to say to her that I read her letter, and that I don't want her to feel that she has to apologize, because she's done nothing wrong. She's replied back saying she will. I think she deserves to know that at least. Now for the second update. So basically, I've decided to go to my parents' house at Christmas when she's going to be there and meet her. I honestly just decided it today. I've been talking to my mom about it all weekend and the past few days, and the more we talk openly, it has made everything seem a bit more clear. I have worked out that despite the history attached and no matter our biology, she's just a little girl. So today, I was talking to my mom on my lunch break, and we were discussing Christmas and how we'd do it logistically, as at this point, I was only going Boxing Day. When my mom mentioned Christmas dinner and playing me one up to warm up and eat at home, I just realized, what's the point of avoiding everyone and sitting at home getting angry and playing on my PC with only my fish for company? So I went something like, yeah, let's go with it. Get enough for me and I'm coming Christmas Day too. She thought I was joking. And when she realized I wasn't, I could tell in the tone of voice that she was thrilled. She asked me if I realized the kid's still going, and I said I do. She asked me how I feel. I said honestly, I don't want to think about all that. I just want to go Christmas Day and spend it with my family. And if a young girl's there, I'll just be polite and respectful and treat her how I would any lonely young woman on Christmas Day. I asked her to let her know and text her and see if she's also okay with that. She did, and in the short space of time on my call, she got back to my mom really happy, saying, of course it is, and can't believe it. So that's it, I'm going. My mom texted me earlier saying mom is so happy I'm coming, and doesn't have to worry about me being on my own anymore. I sat there this afternoon feeling a bit relieved. And I'm also absolutely bloody terrified, but not in a bad way. More of a facing something uncertain way. Am I nuts? A week ago I posted and was acting like I would rather cut contact with everyone. Now I don't really know what I feel. I'm thinking of writing her another letter too. Nothing serious, just a bit about me to introduce myself and maybe ask her for one back. Would that be a nice thing to do? Is that too much? I mean, obviously I might panic and cancel last minute knowing how flaky I can be, but I hope not. Now for more advice before the last updates. Life is short. This isn't guaranteed to play out like a Lifetime movie, but it's not guaranteed to end up in disaster either. I think opening yourself up to new experiences is a brave choice, and I think she'll be excited to just meet you and talk to you. Do take it slow and give yourself an exit strategy if it gets to be too much. Take a break by going into another room, or maybe a short walk around the block. Try to go into there without expectations, and I think it's also important for her to do the same. Best of luck with everything. Definitely. I mean, I'm just rationalizing it to myself that I'm going to my folks, and we have a guest there, and only expect we'll have a nice day and good food. That's a good idea about a break though. I'm sure they'll let me walk the dog for them if I need to get out for 5. Did she give you her email address? You should write her directly, instead of sending your parents between. No, although I did consider that, but I might yet. My thoughts are that this way, if it doesn't work out and we don't keep contact, I don't have the risk of someone having my email address that I don't want to be in contact with. At least this way, I can make that decision at a pace I'm comfortable with. You can make an email just for communicating with her, silly. From your posts, I think you're kind of settling with the idea now that the shock's worn off. I think the picture really hit you too. I'm glad you are going Christmas, as no one should be alone. And I think it'll be good for you to meet her, as by the way you've written, I think you want to, but we're hesitant that you'd resent. But as time goes on, you are warming up and thinking of her in a more positive light. The letter sounds a good idea. Maybe you could include some of your quirks and favorite things, and about your fish. I think so. It was like at the beginning it was the shock and it wasn't a real situation to me. Then I got the letter and it made her real, a human. I'm not going to say I might not have a negative thought in future, but at least this way there's plenty of time in case that happens. Definitely a nice idea about the fish too, by the way. Edit. Thanks to the great suggestion of a certain commenter, I've set up a new email address solely for the purpose of her and I to communicate, so it saves us both having to write letters and wait. My mom's got her email for me, so I'm in the process of drafting an email. Freaking hell, I've spent hours in the past week communicating with strangers all over the world on Reddit, but do you think I know what to say in an email to a teenage girl living not too far away from me? I'm absolutely blank. Now for the last update. Those of you who check out post history are welcome to check my post history out. But me and my daughter have been corresponding through email this last few days a lot. It feels like hundreds of emails and getting to know each other. Even though it's been weird, I have really enjoyed it. She's a lovely kid, and I genuinely like her. So this afternoon we were chatting, and I signed off my email "Love Dad" without thinking. And she messaged me back, "Dad, do you mean it?" And I was like, I suppose I do. I haven't heard from her since because she's working today, but I keep on thinking about it. In fact, she texted me a couple of minutes ago with a smiling emoji and a love heart. I responded the same. I was so scared to embrace her. To me, a couple of weeks ago she was just my offender's baby. Now I acknowledge she's mine, like I'm her dad and she's my daughter. I wouldn't say love is the right word, but she's mine. If someone asked me if I had a kid, I'd say I do. I don't know how I feel about it on the emotional level. I don't have this warm paternal feeling like I think people probably do. But at the same time, I know she's mine. even though we've never met, but at the same time, I feel I want to meet her before Christmas. I don't know if I can wait, even if we have a video message. I'm going to video call her tomorrow. Man, I'm really nervous. I don't think a lot of people have been in my situation ever. But is this natural? Am I doing it right? Should I do anything different? What does a dad actually do? I feel like crying, yet smiling at the same time. This is tough, man. You're doing the best you can, and it looks like it is working. Do what your heart is saying and have no regrets. Thank you. I'm just doing what I'd do for anyone who doesn't have a family at Christmas. Maybe I'll look back on this in a month and say it's a great decision, or my biggest ever mistake. Wow, what a ride reading your post history. I'm so proud of you for how you're handling things. I think it's such a beautiful thing that the two of you are getting to know one another. It made my heart smile to read that you'd softened your heart to the idea of meeting her. I respect how you felt before, but I'm so happy the two of you are getting to know each other. I hope that this becomes a happy ending for you both. I hope it's a real tale, because I teared up a little when OP said, "She's mine." OP, like someone else said, there will be bumps. She might disappoint you and you her. You might have to forgive her and ask for forgiveness. But I hope you grow to love each other for the rest of your lives. If you don't, remember that you tried, and that's pretty freaking enormous. Never regret that.